Melvyn Hayes is one of the most recognisable faces and voices in British show business history. He is a childhood hero of mine in children's TV when we talk about Superted and his part as Skeleton, to his cameos in the Cliff Richard movies, the Carry On classics and TV appearances in many top sitcoms. Melvyn talks about being ripped off on his first entertainment contracts, to why he turned down the Real Marigold Hotel. He talks of live TV back in the day and working with Jess, Conrad and Eric Sykes, and playing Peter Cushing in a Hammer horror movie, to Leeds City Varieties and the good old days. It was such a joy chatting to this legend from his Isle of Wight home. Welcome to Eyes Teeth, the Water Rats, past King Rat, Melvyn Hayes. Very special guest on Eyes and Teeth today. I have admired this gentleman for so many years. I grew up watching him on TV and movies. And my father, Terry, used to make us sit down and watch all the Cliff Richard movies, the Carry On movies and everything. Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, Melvyn Hayes. Hello, sir.
Well, you call me a gentleman. That's great. That's a good start, isn't it?
A great start, isn't it? Well, you are, because I know mutual friends that know of you. I spoke to Crisco the other day, who also lives on the Isle of Wight.
That's right. He's a neighbour.
He is a neighbour of yours, and they speak very fondly of you as well. And being a water rat, which I've been for nearly 8 years now, Melvyn, I knew of you when obviously you were king, your past king rat. So
I was king. I think it was 2004.
Oh, was it really? Wow.
I think it was 2004. And then, of course, because I moved to the Isle of Wight, that little strip of water, that sort of
it's
5
difficult.
miles of Solent,
yes,
makes it difficult, because it meant that if I actually went to a lodge meeting on a Sunday, I would have to leave the moment I arrived, because I would never get back.
Yes, that's true.
The last ferries are about 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to say, hello everybody, but goodbye. But, I mean, there is a chance that I'm in the throes of moving, and I'm going to be coming back to London in about 6 months or so. So there's a chance that I wouldn't know anybody. I mean, you're all new.
Well, Jess Conrad. I think everyone knows Jess.
Jess Conrad is still 21.
He still looks 21, but I think he walks around with that photo in front of his face. But yeah, it's so nice to to be associated with yourself as well, because I am an up and coming, still really up and coming in the business, and you've done so much. It's difficult to tie down everything that you've done, Melvyn, but I'd like to talk about a few of the things that you've done over the years, which has been.
Can I just tell you a quick Jess Conrad story?
Oh yes, please, if there is one.
I was years and years and years ago. I was doing a Dixon of Dock Green with him. Right?
Oh yes.
And we were sitting on this motorbike, and he was on the front, and I was on the back. And this director said, Mr. Conrad, would you be... excuse me, I wonder if our friend behind you, if our friend could move a bit. We can still see you, sir. Yeah, Mr. Conrad, you're looking absolutely... Please, we're trying to make a shot here. Could you ask your friend, Mr. Conrad? I said, I'm not and never will be your friend. That was my memory.
Oh, really?
I've never told Jess that.
Oh, bless.
It was about 50 years ago.
Was it? Oh, bless her. I won't bring him up again.
No, it's all right. I love him. Go on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's a character. Now, I'd like to touch slightly on your first memories of the theatre. Was it a theatrical production or pantomime or variety show that you saw that made you want to join this wonderful business?
Well, it was. No, I was 15 years of age.
Okay.
And I was working in Fleet Street, carrying those heavy blocks up and down to every newspaper. I mean, and they're from wherever the world they were then in Fleet Street, upstairs to the top, and they were carrying adverts and things. And then one day, I was passing the Daily Mirror building, and they sort of give you copies because they're coming off the press,
Okay.
And it was just a little piece, and it said, "Boy wanted to disappear twice daily at the Emasculine Mysteries at the Comedy Theatre London for this Christmas.
Wow.
Must be over 15, etc., etc., etc. And the wages are for this Christmas job £5 a week." Well, I was earning £2.05 a week as a Fleet Street messenger boy, so I thought, right.
Double money.
So I phoned up the stage door of the Comedy Theatre, and I said, "This job," they said, "it's the auditions are tomorrow, sir. Tomorrow are the auditions." And I thought, no, there's no point. So I never went to it.
Oh.
And then, for some reason, my dad, who had a lot of relations in the East End of London, used to pop up on a Sunday to see his brothers and sisters in the East End. We lived in Clapham.
Okay.
And for some reason, he bought the Sunday Dispatch home. He never bought the Sunday Dispatch in his life.
Wow, it's meant to be.
In it, there was a 2-line piece, just 2 lines, and it said, "They're still looking for that boy for the Indian rope trick." So I thought, right, that's it. It's an omen.
Yes.
I'll go along. And I went along, and there was all the Fleet Street press there, and I was the only one that could stay up the rope long enough for them to take pictures. Right? It was true. I mean, in my grammar school, I was good at 2 things. That was Latin, because being a hypochondriac, I was able to read the doctor's prescriptions upside down and all that in Latin, and climbing ropes.
All right.
And so the magician, he was great at making things disappear, especially money, because he said, "I think you'd be very good for this, and the wages are," he said, "how much are you earning at the moment?" And I said, £2.05. He said, "Well, the wages are," he coughed and said, £4. And so that was my first introduction to show business, and it's always been the same. I was caught on my first job, and it's been the same ever since.
Yeah,
when I grow up, I'm going to get a proper job. I'm going to pack up this silly game. People play. I mean, who goes around painting your face anymore? I mean, no way.
Still waiting for that job.
And after 4 weeks at the Comedy Theatre, disappearing twice daily, I was called into his dressing room on the last night, and he said, "Well, Melvyn, thank you so much. We're going on tour, but we can't afford to take you, I'm afraid. So thank you, but we found you another job." And I said, "Oh, great. He said, another show?" He said, "Well, not exactly." I said, "Well, but is it like backstage?" He said, "Well, no, not exactly." I said, "Well, what is it exactly?" He said, "It's an assistant night watchman in a factory in Croydon." And I said, "But I'm in show business." I said, I'm a pro. I said, I was all of 15, 16.
Yeah, once you get the bug.
And I said, he said, "On the other hand, you could come on tour, but I mean, you'd have to not just do the Indian rope trick. You'd have to be the Chinese boy in the first half. You'd have to look after the animals, work the spotlight, but very careful because you could burn your hands.
Wow.
And you look after all the props and all the animals. Be an ASM, a property master. Do the get out on a Saturday night and the get in on a Monday morning.
Blimey.
And we'll pay you." He coughed again and said, just a pound less than. No, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll pay you £1 more than whatever your digs are. Now, in those days, you could get bed breakfast and an evening meal for £2.17 a week.
Happy days.
So on top of that pound, that was £3. So he nicked another £0.50.
Oh, you're joking. He's
He
earning.
nicked another £0.50 from me.
And you're doing all them jobs.
My first I should have known. I should have got out then. That was 1951. I should have got out.
The signs were there, weren't they?
Oh, definitely. I've wasted all these years of my life.
But you spent the next.
I could have been a contender.
Could have been somebody. Well, you certainly were. And you spent the next 10 years working constantly in films and television and theatre. I mean, your first big break, Melvyn, can you tell us when that was?
Yeah, well, I suppose my first film break was they were looking for somebody to play Peter Cushing as a young man in a film called The Curse of Frankenstein.
Wow.
Which really made Hammer Pictures, and it was the first one of those horror films, and they wanted me to play him as a young man.
Wow.
So I was only on the screen, I would think, for a few minutes.
Yes.
But that was it when it all looked around the world, and it was a smash hit for him. I think he was on about 4 pence for the picture, and I was on a bit less. But that was the start on that. Then television-wise, I did a children's series called The Silver Sword, which was, and I did these drama documentaries which they used to do, and the first one I did was called The Unloved, which was about a boy in a maladjusted home, based on a true story. And then I was cast all the time as either a juvenile delinquent or some lad who's dying of TB. And I said one day I would love to play comedy.
Yes.
It was my own fault, because once I started to play comedy, I was never offered another dramatic part again.
Oh, really?
So
did that bug you?
You know, you can't. It's not like a job that you can plan.
No, not at all. Not this business.
I mean, you know that.
Yes.
The phone goes, and darling, I'm off to South America or something. You know what I mean?
Yes. I remember just sat at home once, probably 2001, and Michael Black phoned. And I've never worked for him before, but I did meet him a few months before at a Variety Club dinner. And he said, Ray Allen's not well. Can you fly to Tahiti and do a cruise to Sydney for Ray Allen? So I jumped, because obviously I'm a ventriloquist, and they wanted, out of the blue. And I said, can I take my girlfriend at the time? She's my wife now. And so this business, it just hits you with surprises, doesn't it?
Well, when they did the first one of those Real Hotel Marigold or whatever it was, where they asked some sort of celebrities to go to somewhere like Japan or Africa or somewhere, and they go to the hotel. I spent a couple of hours with the producers in the summer discussing this program is going to be done in the winter. And they said, if we had to decide now, you've got the part, you'll be one of them.
Right.
But we'll be in touch with you nearer the time. So then the phone goes from them, and they said, I think Jess, was on it, funny enough.
Right.
And they said, we'd like you to go and have all the injections. There's quite a lot of them. If you could have all the injections done, and then you would be what we call our first reserve.
Okay.
I said, I beg your pardon. I said, you would be our first reserve. So what does that mean? They said, well, any time in between now and October, we can phone you and say, so-and-so's just dropped dead, or he's taken ill, and we'd like you to fly out to Japan or China or whatever it was. I don't know, out to Mongolia or something. Yes. And I said, do you expect me to sit after having all these injections, right, sit by the phone, and it's going to ring? I said, darling, I'm off to China tomorrow for a couple of months. Is that all right? So I said, I think I've reached a point in my life where I'm not a reserve anymore. I either am offered the job or I'm not offered the job.
That's fair enough. Yeah.
And so I didn't do it.
Eyes Teeth.
I mean, it's a very weird business. It's not real. Well, now, not at the moment. It's not.
No. It's a crazy time,
weird.
isn't it? Yeah.
Do you think it'll ever recover?
Oh, well, we're keeping our fingers crossed, and we do hope so, don't we? Because it would be crazy if this was it. It's not right.
But we've lost a year.
Yes. I think it's amazing. I think, Melvyn, you had the best of show business in your career. Do you think that as well? You had the films, the variety, the sitcoms.
Eric Sykes said to me years ago, he was in my car, I was driving somewhere, I don't know where it was, to some charity deal with him. And he said, we were very lucky. We had the best time of television. When I started, there was one station, the BBC.
Yes.
That was it. Everything, and nowadays they say, it's a live program. Everything we did was live.
It started that way.
Everything. There was no film or anything.
No.
I remember sitting, I must have been early 50s, sitting in the canteen watching the screen, the television screen, what was going out at the moment.
Right.
And I thought, I wonder what's on next. Oh my God, it's me. And I ran from the restaurant, the studio canteen, and just got there in time.
Oh, really? Wow.
To go on and be some kid who was dying or something.
Yeah.
But no, it was like I say, it was live and it was real.
Yeah, it was just nothing like it was then, is it? I mean, it's amazing.
It was very exciting. I mean, and of the days before adverts, that was a pleasure. I mean, I think programs are destroyed now because of the adverts. And I understand there are certain programs that you don't have to have adverts. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. Mainly on the BBC, isn't it? all those ones. Yeah.
I mean, my programme, It Ain't Half Hot Mum, that's banned.
Is it banned now? Is that because of the...
It was one of the most successful TV series.
Yes.
I mean, Jimmy Perry and Davy Croft.
Wonderful guys.
It's the best one they've done.
Wow.
And it's banned.
Oh, that's so sad.
And it's a story which is all based on reality, because they both ran concert parties during the war abroad. And all those stories and all those characters, they were real. I mean, there was a Gloria, the character that I played. And there was a Sergeant Major like that. And there was, and it's...
just real life.
Nowadays, you can't, unless you're green or pink or yellow, you can't play a green or pink or yellow person.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
And if the character is called for a man with two heads, I'm sorry, but only a man with two heads can play that part.
Yeah, it's changed completely, hasn't it? And you kind of... it's very sad if they're going to be taking away all those shows and you won't be able to see them again because of the language has changed over the years. But it's at that time, nobody knew any different. And it's so sad to lose that.
I mean, let's be honest. My mother, God rest her soul, her favourite programme was the black and white minstrels. Can you imagine now?
Yes, yeah.
Showing the black and white minstrels. And that was one of the most popular television shows based on the American minstrel shows.
Yes, it's crazy.
But it was, people like Al Jolson.
Huge star.
One of the world's greatest entertainers.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be allowed.
No.
A friend of mine who died recently, called Steve King, was an Al Jolson impersonator.
Okay.
And he was offered a tour years ago, just him to do the first half, and the ink spots to do the second half of the show. Okay. Right. And so he literally, one of the dates was the Palladium, right?
Yeah.
Of the tour, and he would go on doing Al Jolson, and then the ink spots would do the second half. One of the days during the tour, he told me, he said that he suddenly developed a sore throat, and they knocked on his door of his dressing room, the ink spots, right, and said, listen, Steve, you've got to relax your voice tonight, so we'll do 20 minutes of your act. So they went on, the ink spots, one of the greatest acts, went on and did all those Al Jolson numbers. Yes. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
And that happened.
Back then, when you were working in movies, doing sitcoms as well, and you'd done quite. Was it 2 movies for Cliff Richard that you did, which was Summer Holiday?
I did 3. I was the only one that did 3. We did The Young Ones.
That's right.
Summer Holiday and Wonderful Life.
Oh wow!
The Young Ones was my favourite. Then they spent some money on Summer Holiday, and then I don't know what happened. Wonderful Life. I think it sort of died a bit.
Did the budget go down, did it?
Sorry?
Is that because they trashed the bus in one of them, so that was the budget gone, really, for the next film?
Well, the bus was in Summer Holiday.
Yes, yes.
Which was taking the trip across Europe. But the thing is, nobody thought to find out the fact that you couldn't take a bus across Europe because of the bridges.
Right.
And so what they did, they sent 2 buses out to Athens by water. Right. And so when they got to Athens, we're all sitting in the hotel waiting to start filming, and the word comes through that the Greek authorities were not going to release the buses until they found out what they were all about.
Really?
So we had 3 days off to start with. But
wow, literally a holiday.
they were great films to do because it was fun. We were having fun.
It looked like
Nothing
such great fun that you were having with Cliff then, and he was in his heyday as well, and he was a big pop star.
Funny enough, I got it was my birthday in January the 11th, and I got an email from Cliff just saying it's not very often that I send best wishes to somebody who's older than myself. I don't meet many people older than myself. And he says, there must have been something in the air
Yes.
on that summer holiday we took.
Oh.
And he was right. It was. I mean, it's been shown in America hundreds of times.
Really?
And I think I like the occasions I see it. You look for the mistakes I made. I mean, there's shots of me falling over, and I just tripped up. I just fell over.
Are you a clumsy type?
And in one scene, in Wonderful Life, I broke my ankle, right? But I didn't know I'd broken my ankle. And Gillian Lynn, who was the choreographer, said, "You've sprained it. Let me massage it," right?
Right.
So she massaged this broken foot, and I finished up in the London clinic.
Oh, no.
So it had to be reset and everything. And then the film was held up, and it said on the call sheet, "We will shoot this scene when Melvyn Hayes is able to dance." As I couldn't dance in the first place, they had to wait a long time. So the film was put off for 10 weeks till I was able to recover. Then we did a scene in London on the River Thames, going down with the boat, a number called Home.
Yes.
And nobody noticed. We passed Big Ben 3 times.
Oh, there's one. It's such a wonderful movie. I really love reminiscing about that, sitting and watching that with my dad, and he's a big 60s fan, you know, music wise, and so all the Cliff, all the Beatles, but I remember, and you had bright blonde hair in that movie, didn't you?
Well, the reason I had the blonde hair was because Herbie Ross, who was the American choreographer, said to me, "You should have your hair dyed," and I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, you're the sidekick to Cliff, and in America, the hero has black hair, and the sidekick has blonde."
Wow.
He said Van Johnson, Sonny Tufts, etc., etc. So I had the hair dyed. That was for the young ones. When I turned up for summer holiday, he said, "Where's the blonde hair?"
Oh no.
I said, "It's a different film." He said, "No, it's not." He said, "It's the same thing. Cliff does the songs and you do the pratfalls. Get your hair dyed."
Really? Back to the
and of course, when we came to do as soon as the film was finished, I went to the hairdressers and got a very short haircut and had it dyed back to my sort of browny colour.
Right.
The next day, the phone goes, and it's the producer, and he says, "Melvyn, we need to shoot another number." I said, "Oh yeah." And he said, "Called Bachelor Boy. We think it could be a hit. Bachelor Boy. We want you in the shadows and Cliff." I said, "Well, I'm not going to dye my hair just for the one shot." He said, No, we'll get you a wig. Don't worry about that. We'll get you a wig." So they got this terrible blonde wig. And on the premiere night, and I arrived at the theatre with thousands of people there. And there, about 50 foot high, is the one picture of me is with the blonde wig. Out of all the shots in the film, that's the one they put out there.
Oh, bless.
But they were such fun days. They really were. I mean, the money didn't come into it. He didn't say it. I actually turned down summer holiday.
Oh, controversial.
What had happened was, when we did the young ones, I don't think people realise how important billing is to an actor.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And when we did the young ones, the original billing that came out was the young ones, starring Cliff Richards, Robert Morley, with Carol Gray, The Shadows, Robertson Hare, Melvyn Hayes, right? I thought, well, that's wonderful. That's terrific. And then they decided to drop Robertson here because he only had one line, which was, oh, calamity, right? And so they dropped my name as well. So when we came to do Summer Holiday, I said, I would like to have feature billing, not above the title, not starring. It's called with billing. So in other words, you got stars so-and-so in Summer Holiday with blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You see? And they said, no. So I said, right, I don't want to do the film then. So I thought, in those days, you could rule the world, you know it all.
Yes.
Right. And so I said, no way, I'm not doing it. And the days got nearer and nearer to starting the film, and I said to my agent, I can't afford not to be in that film. I've got to be in it. It's ridiculous. So they phoned up. We do the film, and on the premiere night, I'm sitting at the table with the associate producer, and I said, can I ask you something? And he said, yeah, of course. What was that? I said, would you have come back for me? I turned the film down. I said, he said, of course you would have done. I said, what do you mean? He said, we needed you for the film. You were the comedy in it. We needed you.
Wow.
And now, but can you believe it?
Oh.
How do you know? But when they came to the third one, A Wonderful Life,
Yes.
I got also starring blah, 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 as it should have been. Because there were people like Richard O'Sullivan, Teddy Green. They were all playing leading parts in it.
Right, yeah. Great names.
And I'd never thought about it. It hadn't occurred to me about billing at all before.
No.
And anybody listening to this thinks, we're a conceited person. But no, it's more important than the money.
Yes.
So that when you come to discuss your next film,
Yes.
it makes such a difference. And it is. Oh, is that your phone or my phone? I don't know.
Oh, it's okay this end.
Oh, it's all right. It just
Okay.
somebody said to me, it's probably somebody up in the gods up there, one of the producers, saying he apologises, he's sorry.
Right.
Anyway, where were we?
Yeah, does that cross over, do you think, Melvyn? Does it cross over into pantomime? Because where billing is concerned, I mean, you've been up there and you've worked again with Windsor Davies from 8.5 Hot Mum. You've done a lot of pantos together with Windsor, and you've both been at the top.
We did a lot. I mean, the first one we did was the Palladium.
Wow.
I mean, 16 weeks at the London Palladium.
Great days,
right?
Yeah.
Third billing with Windsor and I got third billing with Jim Davison top. He did Molly Sugden for second billing, and then we got. But I was the luckiest person out of any of them with the Palladium because they did "This Is Your Life" on me, which was amazing.
Oh, wonderful. And that was 1981, I think, when they done that. Is that right?
I think it was 81. Yes.
And
the strangest thing is, the night before, I'm standing in the wings waiting to go on stage at the Palladium, and Lionel Blair, who was directing and playing the sheriff, comes up to me and says, "Are you all right, Melf?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm a bit worried." He said, "Why are you worried?" I said, "Well, which side is Eamon coming on from?" He said, "What?" And he said, I must go. And he went. And I thought no more about it.
Oh, no.
He went straight into Windsor Davies' dressing room and said, "Melvyn knows." Windsor said, "What did he say? What did he say?" He said, "Which side is Eamon coming on from?" He said, "That's been a running gag with him since we've worked together all these years." He said, "Whatever pantomimes or summer seasons we've done, anywhere in the show, he'll suddenly turn around, look into the wings and say, 'I'm a bit worried, which side is Eamon coming on from?'" And he said, he just happened to say it the night before it happened.
Oh, isn't that scary? You'd have blown the cover.
And he nearly said, he said to me after the line, he said, I nearly said, "So you know then?"
Oh, no.
I had no idea. Of course, I didn't have any idea.
It must be a wonderful surprise, because I loved that show, This Is Your Life. I did speak to Michael Aspel, who took over the show for Eamon, and just wonderful memories of that show. But
I did 15 of them.
Did you really?
I did 15, yeah. I even did Michael Aspel's.
Oh, amazing.
But no, it's... I don't know where they sort of come from, but there's certain people that found out and they've had to just I mean, Ronnie Barker, by all accounts, was looking for going through his chest of drawers, and there was his wife's underwear and everything, and there he found a piece of paper.
Oh,
which
right.
said, it was a telephone number, and he said, what's this? And he phoned the number. They said, this is your life office.
Oh,
They,
no.
oh shit.
Oh.
And they cancelled it. I think they put it on again later. They did it sometime later.
Yeah, oh, that's a shame.
I know.
Never look through your
But
wife's drawers.
It was very exciting.
Yes. Oh, it must be exciting when you actually get that moment, don't you? So was it during the pantomime that Eamon came on? Which side did he come on from?
During the pantomime, at the end of the matinee,
Yes.
Jim Davison said to me, Melv, he said, there's going to be a few cameramen in the audience. I said, oh yeah, why's that? And he said, well, they're doing a program on me. He said, a bit of my summer season, a bit of my act, a bit of a TV show that I did, and then some of the pantomime. He said, I'll bring you on at the end. I said, when we're doing the lineup, I said, we'll have a gag. I'll have a gag with you, and you probably earn a few bob, because you get a clip in my show. I said, oh, that's fun, yeah, but don't make it too long. I said, because we've got a tea break, and then we've got to come back for the second house, right? So comes the finale, and Jim said, ladies and gentlemen, I said, my mate here, Melvyn, he said, must congratulate him. He just finished his first film. Round of applause, right? And he's taking it to Boots to be developed in the morning. Another round of applause, big laugh. And he said, we've got another surprise for you, Melvyn. I said, yeah. I said, oh, come on, don't mess around. I said, it's tea time, for goodness sake, hurry up. I said, I'm tired. I've got some people to meet us in the show tonight. And the next thing, it was this enormous chair, and standing next to me was Eamon Andrews with the big red book.
Amazing. Yeah.
But the thing is that usually, because I've done them before, as I say, you do them, and then there's a party afterwards.
Okay.
But with me, there was just another show to do.
Oh no, you didn't get your buffet.
It was very strange, very weird feeling.
Yes.
But no, that was This Is Your Life.
Eyes Teeth. Because you've done so many pantomimes and summer seasons, did you actually have a variety act? Was you a song and dance man, or did you do comedy?
No, I did. I didn't know I got away with murder. I mean, like, I topped the bill at the City Varieties.
Oh,
goodness knows.
Love that theatre.
You know the City Varieties up in Leeds?
Leeds, I've done it occasionally, yeah.
You must have done it. Have you done it?
Love it, yeah. About 6 times now. Love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think who it was that was in the chair. It was
it Leonard
Portrait.
Sachs? Was it Leonard?
The chairman. Can you remember the chairman?
Leonard Sachs?
No. That was the original. But
Okay.
It was Johnny.
Oh, John. Oh, I know what you mean. He's a brother rat, wasn't he?
Brother Red. And I said to him, I'm top of the bill. I said, I've got to do 20 minutes?
Yes.
Or 20 minutes. And I said, can you give me some sort of signal at 18 minutes so I know so I can wind up, because I'm not used to doing the variety act as such, but I'll get an act together, right?
Yes.
So he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. At 18 minutes, I'll take off one of my gloves. And when you see me take the glove off, you've got 2 minutes to wind up. I said, okay, that's great. On the first night, wonderful. Spot on. Saw him do it. Did the wind up. Then you do the Friday, and then on the 2 shows on the Saturday. So on the Saturday matinee, exactly. By the time I got to the 3rd show, I was so relaxed and so with it. I was chatting to the audience. I was doing this. I was doing that. And suddenly I suddenly looked. He had both gloves off. He had his jacket off, and he was undoing his tie. And I said, I think I've come to the end of the act. He said, yes, you have. I said, shall I just finish with the card trick? He said, no, get off.
Was it Johnny Dennis? Dennis. Was it Johnny Dennis?
Johnny Dennis, yeah.
The lovely Johnny, yeah. Oh, bless him.
Oh, he was lovely. Perfect, he was. But, because you get so relaxed.
Yeah, too relaxed. I think Ken Dodd did.
I realised I went on the road with a show. We called it It Ain't Half Fun, something like that. And
okay.
With me on the bill was the Crankies.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And they said, "You're top, Melvyn." And I said, "No way will I go on after the Crankies." I said, "No way." I said, "They are so professional. They've done this act all their lives."
Yes.
I said, "So I will go on and then introduce them, and they will finish the show."
Oh, lovely.
I mean, you've got to know your place.
Yeah, I hosted the show in Blackpool about 4 years ago, and the Crankies closed the first half. They had a standing ovation. Nobody could follow them, so we needed that.
You can't follow them.
No, they were and they were both 71, still doing the ventriloquist routine with Jeanette on Ian's knee, throwing her about.
That's right.
Yeah, it's incredible. So good.
So good. I mean, so good. I mean, and yet basically they have to work abroad because
yes.
In this country, we look upon them as a joke.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, but they still killed in pantomime. They were amazing in panto. I think they're retired now, though. Sadly, the last.
Really, I think didn't they used to do pantomime in Scotland?
Yes, they did. Yeah, I've done it quite a lot in Scotland.
But I mean, the point is, they could sing, they could dance, they could act. They were wonderful.
They were funny as well. And didn't you work on the Tommy Cooper Hour at some point?
Yes. I mean, I don't know I can't even remember what I did. But I know at the end of it, he said to me, "You're going to come next door and join me for a drink."
Right.
It was a Twickenham, and his wife was there, right? He said, "I've got the missus with me." He said, "We'll come next door and have a drink in the bar." Right. And before he left, he said to the prop man, "Could I have a couple of those £5 notes, the phony ones been using for the act?" So he got these couple of £5 notes, right? So we go into the pub, and he hasn't said anything to his missus or me about the notes, but I found this out afterwards that he asked for them. And we're standing by the bar, and he said, "Right, let's go and get a seat and sit down." She said, "No." He said, "Don't be silly, love. Let's go and get a seat over there and sit down." She said, "No, I'm not moving." And he said, "Oh, come on, love. I've just done this show and I'm knackered." And she said, "I can't move. I've got my foot on a £5 note." He planned it for somebody to find it.
Oh, that's funny.
Funny man. Funny man.
Always had tricks up his sleeve or under his shoe.
I mean, I must say, I've been writing my book, and I've been writing it for the last 35 years. I started 35 years ago.
Wow.
I haven't finished it yet.
Well, that's a big book.
I think I'm up to 1970 something. Anyway, and I'm amazed at the various people that I did work with over the years.
Yes.
I mean, serious actors, comedians, etc. And you think, I've been very lucky.
Yeah, great memories.
Because it is so chancy. To get a part, then to be able to work and do it how you want to do it,
yes,
etc. And it's I consider myself very lucky. I've got the title. I've got a title for the book.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what the title is so far, and it's "It ain't half taken me a long time to write this book, Mum."
That's perfect. That's brilliant. and literally it has as well, because you cross over from movies to theatre to sitcoms. You've done the Thin Blue Line.
I don't know how.
I think Benidorm was your last sitcom, wasn't it? You appeared as Mr. Pink.
That was in Benidorm.
Benidorm, yes.
And he wrote it for me. I didn't realise he wrote the part for me. And I had to apologise to my children because I said, Daddy's never sworn on the television before.
Until now.
And when I was going round on that sort of motorbike track or whatever you call it, go-kart, he said, the director said, "Could you swear as much as you want?" I said, "Things have changed."
Yeah.
I remember years ago when I said bloomin', and somebody said, "No, I'm sorry, you can't say bloomin'. You can say blinking."
Yes.
And you can't say, for Christ's sake, you can say for rice cake. Things have changed.
Wow. Oh, it certainly has changed. You go with the times, don't you? But you've spanned over 6-7 decades, maybe, in the variety showbiz world. And I love the fact that you're in one of my favourite childhood cartoons. You voiced Skeleton in Superted.
That's right.
I loved
did that.
Superted.
Well, the funniest thing about that was about 4 years ago, I'm reading in the Radio Times that Mike Young, who created Superted,
Right.
had an article in the Radio Times saying, we're hoping to redo Superted, and we've got 2 originals we're hoping to use, and that's the man who did the voice for Superted,
Okay.
Derek and Melvyn Hayes, and so I communicated in the States with him, and it was all set up, and then it just disappeared. It never happened. We were going to do another 20 or something.
Oh, really?
And it never happened.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because, I mean, the point is, we'd lost Bulk, which was Roy Kinnear.
Yes.
Victor Spinetti was Texas Pete.
Yeah, John Pertwee.
And John Pertwee was Spotty Man.
And Peter Hawkins was Superted, wasn't he?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
He was the narrator.
Well, that was wonderful. Yeah, Skeleton. I loved Skeleton. He was so cute, wasn't he? It's such great.
Tex, I got no muscles. Tex. It was really Gloria. I just pinched Gloria, really.
Did you? Really? Oh, that's so nice. Thanks for doing that. It brings back your childhood, that does. But you've out of all this, the Royal Variety performance, you've done quite a few of those. They must be proud moments.
I know. I think I did about 3. I mean, God knows what I was doing in it. I mean, there was one where there was underneath the arches. No, strolling.
Oh, Strolling,
right?
not with Roy Hudd.
About 20 or so faces doing in evening dress. Going, there was who's the double act?
Flanagan and Allen, is it? Or
there was a copy of Flanagan and Allen, but it was the 2 that did it.
Mike and Bernie Winters. Mike and Bernie.
But it was Bernie Winters, and I think it was Leslie Crowther. I think.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
I'm not quite. And then we gradually all came on, strolling, except there were so many of us that half of them never got on stage.
Didn't they?
The number was over because there were so many.
Too many.
You know, all the faces that said, "Yeah, I'll do it." But yeah, that was exciting. There was a message from Princess Margaret saying, "If it's longer than 2 hours, I'm going home."
Oh, that's so wonderful to catch up on all this. And if we can wrap it up with talking about the water rats, you were past King Rat, and the water rats are a wonderful thing. Do you remember when you joined Melvyn and who proposed you into the rats?
Yes. It was very strange, actually, because normally they ask you to come along and meet people before, so they got to know you, etc.
Yes.
And I did that for nearly 2 years.
Right. It's a long process, isn't it?
I kept on going there. And it was Roger de Courcy.
Okay.
Was king that year.
Yes.
He proposed me.
Oh.
And I was seconded by Terry Duggan, which was Anna Karen, who was Olive and on the bus is her husband.
Yes. Oh, bless
lovely
him.
man.
I done panto with him.
That was 40. Was it? I'm trying to think how many years ago. 94, I think. So that would be too many years ago.
26.
Yeah. I haven't. Like I say, I haven't been because I live on the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
And I had a couple of things like heart transplants. Well, not transplants. What do they call them?
Bypass, is it? Bypass.
Bypass. Was it a 3-time, whatever you call it? No, it's something else.
A triple
that,
bypass.
That put me off a little bit.
Well, yeah, it can do. But you've got to look after yourself, and you've got to enjoy doing what you do. You know, we never retire from this business, do we? So
No, you don't actually, because you just play older parts.
That's true.
I remember John Gilkert saying when he was 96, you just play older parts.
And you played Dame a lot,
It's
didn't
funny.
you? Mm.
Because I'm writing my book, going through all these old papers, and when I first went to America, I needed some famous people to recommend that I got a work permit. Okay. And so I got one I asked, you need 5. One was Dickie Attenborough, Richard Attenborough, Sir Richard Attenborough, yes. Lord Attenborough.
Wow.
I said to his secretary, the brief from America is that the first paragraph in the recommendation is explaining who he is. The second is explaining who I am. And the third is why he thinks that I should be right to go to America to work. Right. And when he sent this form in, I said to my wife, he hasn't explained who he is.
Oh, no.
And she said, I think they know. and then Joss Ackland, an actor, Joss Ackland, right, was another one. And he said, I don't want to go over the top. He said, I know in America, I do a lot of work in America. And he said, and they do like it laid on thick. So his last stuff was, don't ask me if Hayes is funny. It's like asking me if Buster Keaton or Danny Kaye is funny.
Yes.
I said, I think you've gone over the top.
Oh, bless him. Well, you got to America eventually, which is nice.
I went to see an agent, William Morris Agency. Yes. And they said, yes, we'd look after you, etc., etc. So when are you moving over here? I said, I'm not moving. And he said, well, you got to, because first we want you to go for an interview. You can't just suddenly fly over, can you? So I decided I'd rather stay in London. Right. And I did.
Oh, bless you. You made the right choice. And we're really looking forward to your book, Melvyn. It's so nice to hear your writing the memoirs. We look forward to that so much.
It's been a chat to you. Thank you very much.
It's lovely to chat to you as well. You're a wonderful part of my childhood in a lot of ways. So thank you for bringing joy to millions. And we can't wait for the book. And Melvyn Hayes, thank you so much for being on Eyes and Teeth. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Eyes and Teeth. Thanks to the wonderful Melvyn Hayes, and we look forward to the launch of his autobiography eventually, which you can keep up to date on its progress at www.melvinhayes.com. Today's quote comes from Eric Sykes. I'm proud of being a vaudevillian, the last of my line. A lot of people think my entertainment is candy floss. Well, entertainment is too aggressive these days. All in your face. Thanks, Mr. Sykes. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Lola, Larissa and Nina Hewlett. Additional vocals by Rich T. The Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are produced and performed by Water Rat, Kevin Dean. Tune in to another edition of Eyes and Teeth, the Water Rats, when I talk to past King Rat and brilliant comedian and after-dinner legend, Ian Richards.